Welcome back to the banks of the St. Joseph River, northern Indiana, South Bend, Indiana, the southern bend of the river. I'm Finn, the loudmouth for the ACO. We're at center court here at the Century Center in South Bend for the American Cornhole Organization, center of the Cornhole Universe, Worlds. The road to the Worlds, and I will say the Pro Series event that's going on here on center court. And we are joining the action already in progress. And speaking of action already in progress, my normal cohort here, Philip Barnett, the Mississippi Ninja, is playing in the singles division across the way. So I am pleased to welcome the host of Whole Nation, the American Cornhole Organization, Whole Nation, and the game challenges from earlier today, Rich Pyle, buddy. I noticed you were sitting on the other side of center court eyeballing this match, and welcome to the headset, my friend.
Well, look at here. I'm taking the spot of the missing ninja. Oh, I'm sorry, Mississippi.
Yes.
Mispronounced
the missing Mississippi Ninja. Now, what's interesting, rarely do I turn to my right and not see him. He's not that stealth. But I will say you rolled in here very quietly and very respectfully, and that's a great way to approach the announcing of this game, which has just been, this has just been one dart after another so far here with Gary Bearpaw and Matt Gammon, the 56th seed in the doubles tournament tonight against Drew Wehking and Kyle Anderson, the number 2 seeds. And this is the doubles consolation final, and we are one game away from our doubles final against, who did we determine are our finalists in the winner's bracket? Maybe you heard of them?
I don't think I've ever heard of them before. I think they're new to the game. Some Hurt Brother kids or something like that. I'm not sure.
I believe it's like lather, rinse, repeat, as we talked about last night. The opportunity to copy, paste, and it is
Yes.
Isaac and Caleb Hurd who worked their way through the winner's bracket for the final, and they continue to get warmed up somewhere around here. Well, at least Isaac does. Caleb is eyeballing the competition here from the side of center court, but right now this is a dogfight right here with Gary and Matt 4-0 on Drew and Kyle, and they've been playing for quite some time, and that's going to change just a little bit with regard to not necessarily the score, but at least the statistics with regard to Scoreholio, and everybody's making sure that they keep track of statistics that ultimately work to their PPR and so on and so forth. So it's good stuff. These guys took down Derek Williams and Gavin Kirk to get to this final, and it's going to be a hell of a final match no matter how it goes here. And it was Caleb and Isaac that knocked Drew and Kyle out into the loser's bracket, so there will be a little bit of a revenge factor.
Yes, it's been mostly a monkey see, monkey do round with these guys. I think they've thrown back and forth at least 10 times, and the score is still only 4-0.
Yep, more wash than a laundromat going on so far at this point. Now, we talk about the fact that during the offseason, we've been working hard in Cincinnati, the home of the ACO, to try to get Procter & Gamble to get involved in all the washes that we have at this point. So maybe we could get Tide or Gain or somebody, for God's sakes. But ultimately, this is a game for the ages, and this is a game that matches two teams who have very similar skill sets, with a lot of patience, a lot of skill like that with the airmail, some great shots, and
the way that some of these guys have been able to dial it in, maybe we can get Dial to be part of this
very possible
sponsorship opportunities here.
Very possible, but up and over the top, nicely done by Kyle. And Kyle's got that nice finish there, and to watch Matt push through but clean the board up. But, we talked about this a little bit earlier, Philip and I, we were talking about the different grips and rips that everybody kind of throws, but you watch Kyle, he holds that bag in his right hand between his first two fingers, and we talked about a lot of the seniors come out of the horseshoe game. And a lot of players have come out of a game that I never really knew called washers, or as they call it in the South, washers.
Yep.
But Kyle, he comes out of the washers game, but he holds that bag between his first two fingers. I don't know anybody else in the ACO that throws that way.
I've seen it a number of times. But
have you really?
Yeah. I always pick up little weird techniques that people use. His fingers up. Most of them spread their fingers out when they have it between the first two fingers. He actually curls them up,
it's
so
like
that he has
pinch.
no tips of the fingers control. It's all from his knuckle.
Like a claw.
Paw over there has giant. He has. Have you guys ever talked about the size of this guy's hand?
I haven't, but it just occurred to me that he held his hand up over the scoreboard. I couldn't see any of it.
Yes, I was over there watching the match, and Tracy actually brought it up to me as we were talking about the previous match. And she said, look at the size of Gary's hands. He does have enormous hands.
Well, think about this, too, the size and the strength. For him to be a top 5 because you really, when you're throwing horseshoes, it's very similar to a degree, but the strength required to control and maintain a horseshoe is different than a cornhole bag. But yeah, now I'm noticing it, and his fingers do wrap 2/3 of the way across the back side of that bag, so he does have a real good flat delivery, which allows him to have that kind of mechanical, methodical
bag or the board so softly with hands that big. You would think they would be very strong throw and really hit and move hard, but it's such a soft, gentle.
Very thoughtful. It's very patient.
Patient, that's a great word.
And it's very, very battle back and forth. Gary Bearpaw and Matt Gammon, the number 56 seed. 4-on-3, Drew Wehking and Kyle Anderson, the number 2 seed, fighting to get back to that doubles. Mentioned the Pro Series final, which pit the Hurt brothers against one another, and it was the opportunity for Caleb Hurt to take the three-peat, the hat trick, if you will, and take all 3 of the Pro Series events this season, 3 of 10. But it was Isaac who unseated him. All 3 trophies belong in their home, but 2 belong to older brother Caleb. 1 belongs to younger brother Isaac. Oof. Well, that was a risky shot there by Matt Gammon. He really tried to rush one through there and either knock everything out. It was almost a shuffleboard shot right there. And look at that. Kyle takes a bag, and although he's not happy about being out of play, it doesn't hurt that he knocked Matt's off the backside.
And they've battled back to a 3-4 game here. Ooh.
Boy, and another aggressive shot there, really to try to. It was almost like a break on a pool shot, and he came low with the dirty bag on the front side of the board. So that will affect maybe his PPR and some of his specific statistics personally, but it does not affect the score at this point. So 4-on-3, Gary Bearpaw, Matt Gammon over Drew Wehking and Kyle Anderson. We find ourselves on YouTube right now, Rich, not because you joined us and Philip wasn't here and they wanted to change venues, but because apparently earlier someone here was watching a little World Cup action and some of the sound bled over into the Facebook feed, and they decided they made a copyright violation. That I would tell you, the fingers of FIFA never exist. I mean, they are longer than Gary Bearpaw's. I'll tell you this, as far as the ability to reach out and screw somebody. So, congratulations, FIFA. You've done it again.
Because it is such an important thing to make sure that you don't allow on Facebook is our live broadcasts.
Yeah, anything that might be infringing upon your ill-gotten gain to begin with. So there is our first change in the score in quite some time. Drew Wehking, Kyle Anderson take a 7-6 advantage in that first bag back over Gary Bearpaw and Matt Gammon. So that first bag now. Well, I take that back. Matt took the first bag there. I must have missed something while I was bitching about Facebook. It's not the last time and not the first time, or first or last. I hope 38 Special doesn't get mad at us. They're playing in the background. Oh, God.
Yeah, it's good love and God and bad, buddy.
Kyle puts one in there, and he's going to
take the lead again.
Take it back, 9-on-6 now. Drew Wehking, Kyle Anderson. Again, the winners earn the right to face off against the human buzzsaws and Isaac and Caleb Hurt, who have done nothing except run a hot knife through the cornhole butter, which sounds way dirtier than it's supposed to. But that will be our doubles final tonight. Love to see Gary be able to redeem himself from last night. He was up last night, and he ended up having a tough time closing the deal, and I know that he left here with a lot to think about, and I think he's been on top of his game all day long. And this Drew Wehking, I tell you, he's a name who's come out of, I'm not going to say relative obscurity, but I would say really made a name for himself in the last 18 months, has he not?
He has indeed. You know, all of these guys that are playing right now have a very soft finesse game.
They do. There's not a lot of power, not a lot of that
No.
low thrust power coming in that you see out of Isaac Hurd or Riley Brewster or some of those guys, or even Caleb for that matter, that come in low and hard. They all kind of loft it high and see what happens. To see what happens.
I think Matt has probably the hardest throw out there right now, and it's pretty soft.
I would suggest that, with no harm intended to anyone participating in this match, that if anybody who's involved with Cialis or Viagra would like to have perhaps sponsored this match, certainly.
There's opportunities to be had there, guys. You guys are missing an opportunity for sure.
I can't tell you the number of metaphors we could turn that into, to be honest with you. And it'd be better than two people sitting in a bathtub touching fingertips like E.T.
What actually is better than that, though?
Almost everything. I will be honest with you. If this match ends before sunrise, I will be surprised. Although Bearpaw and Gammon have jumped back to an 11-9 lead over Wehking and Anderson, who will it be that faces the Hurt Locker here on center court for the doubles final? Checking the truck and find out if we made the transition over to YouTube yet. Everybody can find us there. Outstanding. All right, I'm gonna look for that link. I'm gonna post that link, and once I have that link, you will be able to go. And this is the best part about.
But they don't even know until you hit the link, though.
The best part of this is I'm going to put a YouTube link on our Facebook page to take you away from Facebook, because they've said we can't be on Facebook. God, I don't know. I'm going to title this one "Idiots." Okay. No, I'm not going to do that because I don't want people.
Are you referencing us? Or,
I don't want people to think
yeah.
I'm talking about. Here's where you will find the doubles well, the rest of the night. Let's be honest. The rest of the major. I'm going to go ahead and put a comma baby in there because I want it to seem hip and cool.
There you go. Now you do. All this time I was a little bit questioning. You have put an end to that question. You are cool now. Baby. Comma baby.
So we had some good stuff, and I want to talk about this a little bit later on in the game challenge earlier today. Boy, I tell you, that was a lot of we teased it last night, but the results that happened today were really remarkable. I honestly did not think that we would have winners in all of those different divisions.
It was challenging. I mean, that's what it's called, right? A challenge.
I thought we'd be rolling over.
We did not put these together to make them easy, for sure. And the only game that we had, which was the tube challenge, the shoot it challenge, that was the only game that we had more than one person advance. Every other game, there was only one person that actually completed the challenge. And in the shoot it challenge, we actually had three. And it had to be a sudden death. And Craig Irvin actually came out and with the win on that one.
He sure did. The king reigned supreme. And, you talk about the shoot it challenge, shoot CHUTE, because there was a shoot built by RNS boards just to see how good your airmail game was. He was able to put it down the chute, as were two others, and then they had a playoff. And in the first opportunity, the king performed once again, took the $300 in that RNS boards challenge, and that was pretty cool. He also got to keep the tube, which is pretty cool.
He got the tube and the $300.
Which is very cool. Then we had the little drummer boy challenge, Cliff Wilkinson. Now, we may be misleading you a little bit by mentioning Cliff. Cliff was a young lady.
Yes, she is a fireball.
And she was something else. She won the Little Drummer Boy, which became the Little Drummer Gal challenge. And she took some Big Shots cornhole bags and $100 cash. So congratulations. And that's one where she had to play. And she played Mike Schaefer Jr. It was where you throw once with your left hand or your right hand, or you picked your strong hand, offhand,
right.
Strong hand,
as
offhand.
long as you went back and forth. Yep.
Back and forth, and that hence the drummer boy. So congratulations to that young lady, Cliff Wilkinson. And then also in the mini bag long toss, which we thought nobody would nail, it was Tony Neal wearing lucky number 13 and Big Shots cornhole again, coming through big time with $100 and a bonus there. And Tony
and a set of bags.
Yeah, and a set of bags. That was very cool. Tony was very appreciative, and he nailed it. And We had 200, maybe 200 players give that a shot.
Well, I know that the challenges that we had where everybody had an opportunity and a chance to play, we had the line that went all the way down center court, around the bend, and halfway down the room.
Down the room, yeah, I think so.
Which shows that people want to do it. They want to be part of this, and that's what the part that I appreciated. I mean, I'm glad that all the sponsors were involved, and they wanted to be part of it, but I love the fact that all these players want to be part of it as well. Yeah, we did the
Hampton Farms Big Blindfold Challenge.
Yes, that was a good one too. That's a lot of fun. Everybody seems to really enjoy that one too. They don't know it until after they can watch it afterwards because they're blindfolded and they have no idea what's going on. But the rest of us can enjoy it while it's happening.
And it is exactly as it sounds. Have friends from Hampton Farms Nuts. They bring you up here and they say, look, we know how good you are when you can see what you're doing. And we know it takes thousands of bags to figure out what you're doing, but when you have a blindfold on, just how good are you? And we have seen time and time again really, really solid players. And what's crazy about this, when they miss off to the board with the blindfold on, all 4 bags go in the same spot. So they are that good with regard to the muscle memory and the rote. They just aren't that good at figuring out exactly where the board is when they can't see it. But what is interesting is when we have had players that were able to dial in that fixed position, we'll have 1 or 2, and we've had 2 airmails from blindfolded players who swear they cannot see. So the Hampton Farms Big Blindfold Challenge, another successful Game Zone challenge today as part of the Whole Nation festivities.
It's a good time. I'm very proud to be part of that and host that, and everybody, like I said, everybody stopped me all day long afterwards and had something to say about
Such
the
a good
games.
time,
Yeah, it was a good time.
And credit to your better half, Tracy, the executive producer of Whole Nation, who makes sure that you look as good as you need to look.
Then she's slacking.
They look as good as they need to look. They look better than you.
Well,
she does her.
I don't set the bar very high.
Good stuff here. And the game continues on. Gary Bearpaw and Matt Gammon have now jumped out to, well, not jumped out. They have elbowed their way out under the barbed wire to an 18-12 lead over Drew and Kyle. So we could very well see the 56 seed facing off against the number 5 seed, Caleb and Isaac Hurt.
Drew and Kyle actually have battled their way back. They were down quite a bit more than this, and battled their way back to 12, 18.
To the 12 spot. I was too busy in the process of slagging Facebook to pay attention to the score. But yeah, that's a nice claw back right there, and you can see all this on our YouTube channel here. Welcome aboard. Oh, there's a bag that looks like it wants to come back and drip back in on the 11 o'clock
I can't believe
position,
they didn't slide back through. Yeah,
I think there was just enough of Kyle's bag there just to hold him off from dripping back in on that backside. And you talk about the deliberate nature with which these guys play. I mean, look at the way they hold their bags. Very similar. We have some who leave all their bags on the board and they just pick one up as they need it. These two hold in their opposite hand. And it's interesting if you watch Gary, the design on the bag always in line.
It is.
It's not just don't look and just feel for it. There is a methodical nature even to how he holds the bags he's not throwing.
I wonder if he's actually got the seam in his palm. I know a lot of players like to play with the seam in their palm. I wonder if that's the case with Gary.
Well, he throws those Southwest Hypnotics, and that's a perfect way to describe his game. They're going to pick it up.
They've just pushed their way up to 20 to 12.
20 on 12 now. Some would say that's awesome. Some would say that's the hardest number to get off of, 20. Last night, Gary had a tough time jumping off of 18, and it ended up biting him. But I would say Matt is happy to put him out front right there.
I think that at that point, a lot of people get up to 20, and they stop. Mentally, they stop playing to win. They start playing to not lose.
Yeah. The prevent defense, as they call it in the NFL. There's a rough bag right there from Kyle Anderson. He leaves one short as a blocker, but I think Matt's got everything he needs. Yes, he does to get around that, and he's shown time and time again that he can do that. I don't know if Drew's going to be, or if Kyle's going to be able to put that one back in play enough to get to it.
Might not have to.
Yeah, no, he's not going to have to. Yeah, Matt has given him an opening there. And again, Finn, I'm the loudmouth for the ACO. Glad to have you along. It's going to be a wash. Side by side with Rich Pyle, the host of ACO Whole Nation and so many other things. God, how many shows have you been on? I was trying to think about that the other day. You did Pawn Stars,
Hardcore Pawn,
Hardcore Pawn
on True TV,
and True TV, and then you did Nat Geo.
National Geographic did a show called Meltdown, based out of California, LA, particularly, but all through the coast of California. And that was a lot of fun. That was a good time to do. Really got to meet some of the most intelligent people that I've ever met in every different type of industry throughout that show. Had a really good time with that.
And now do the people from those two networks reach out to you every once in a while, go, dude, how did you get hooked up with the ACO? We need to get in there. Did they ever do that?
They say, I see that you have gone way beyond our abilities, and we're not even able to talk to you anymore because we have to go through the ACO representatives
to get to you. We have to go to your agent's agent to talk to figure out how to get to you again. Oh, it's great stuff. But I think my greatest memory still was going to be in Branson when we stopped to grab maybe an adult beverage or two, and we walked over to an adjoining store. And the next thing I know, I turn around and you get mobbed over by the checkout counter, and not only by the people going, "Hey, aren't you that guy from?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, I am." And I love the way you play it. You play it down. It's like, I could be that guy. Do you like that guy? And they're like,
"Do I owe you money?"
We like that guy. Yeah. Did we? We didn't go to college together. You're not going to say, "Hey, Dad," or anything, but then it's like, then they went outside, they got people out of the car, go, that's him, we knew it was him. And I love that. It was so much fun because it is a whole different kind of lifestyle when you've been in that position where people recognize you.
I appreciate the fact that people take time out of their busy day just to want to stop and say hi. I appreciate that. I take that to heart. I think it's a great opportunity that I have to be able to meet people.
Yeah, it's always fun, and the reason I bring that up is because then you come out to an event like this where there's 400 or 500 players and family and friends, and you get together and you walk into a room full of people. I remember that first time you walked in to the room in Vegas, and I've never seen people wrap their arms around somebody, other than when I kind of first joined in as well. They welcomed me with open arms, and you walked in and there was high fives and running down the line and flags waving and everything else. It was really quite something.
And I totally appreciate that, but the thing with his is they do that to everybody that walks through the door, though.
Yep.
They just open their arms and welcome every single person that comes through the door. Everybody is welcome in the ACO, that's for sure.
20 on 12 is what we're looking at. Gary Bearpaw and Matt Gammon have fought up to 20. That may be the most dangerous number to hit against Drew Wehking and Kyle Anderson. And, a couple of bags out of play now, so that leaves that open up middle for Gary, who drips one in left to right, which he most typically does. Now Drew has to make sure he puts this in here, otherwise it's game over.
Looks like he's thinking about pulling that. Nope.
He's just going to go ahead and take what's given to him and
takes a smart choice.
Leave it alone, update their stats, and move on to another frame. Again, for the win, they've earned the pleasure to run right into the human buzzsaws, which are Isaac and Caleb Hurt, who are both sitting to the side of center court, discussing strategy. No. Not even talking to each other. Yes. They fought each other last night for the Pro Series championship, and Isaac denied Caleb his third straight of 3, his hat trick, his three-peat, if you will. And but his boys, his doubles partners, they are unmistakably unbeatable. All right, so.
Yeah, Kyle has pushed a couple bags off to the left here. So
yeah, he's got a rough way to go. He's just got to hope that Matt puts one off the back of the board, which he does not. He puts one in and leaves one low.
There's still a chance here. He can go backside and try to pull his one, but
he's going to take a timeout and look at it, which is smart. I don't know that is there enough there though? Do you think?
I don't know. Matt's bag is kind of halfway sitting on top of his bag, so he may pull both. If he pulls both. If he can actually pull the shot off and pull his bag and the bag on the back, if he pulls Matt's,
it's game
then it's
over anyway. Yeah. It doesn't matter. But if he is somehow able to pull this off, this will be the greatest cornhole shot you've ever seen. If he's able to do that without pulling Matt's bag.
He could possibly step way out, push hard, take his 3 bags and Matt's 1 and have a wash.
And
but
wash, yeah.
That may be the only opportunity.
Oh, he's
that I
not
see.
stepping out. He's going to stay lined up in the center of his
Yep,
pitch
he's going to go for the
spot.
airmail.
He's going to try this airmail drag. If he's able to pull it,
And he
Again,
has to pull it.
this will be a magic trick. If he's able to pull it out, he grips it, he rips it up and over.
A little bit short.
And
Good
he
game.
leaves it short, and that's going to do it. That's going to be 21-12. Gary Bearpaw and Matt Gammon advance to the doubles final, 21-12. And they, for their trouble, will advance to face the Hurt Locker. And by Hurt Locker, we mean the Hurt Locker. It's going to be Caleb and Isaac Hurt. Isaac has already worked his way out to center court. He has the marching step ready, hands shoved in pockets. He said, Caleb, you go ahead and choose the bags we're going to throw. I'll bet they are Project 13s from 724. We will find out, and we will have more coming from center court as the doubles final happens in just moments here from the South Bend Major and the third Pro Series of the American Cornhole Organization Season 18. The Century Center is where the center of the Cornhole universe is tonight, and that doubles final comes up soon. Rich Pyle, Finn, the loudmouth for the ACO, back to you in just a few moments on the ACO Digital Network.